Welcome back into the morning after. Happy Friday. I am Dubs Anderson. I'm a very happy boy when I get to talk a little bit of golf. It's the FedEx Cup Playoffs, the first event, the FedEx St. Jude Championship coming to you from Memphis. And yes, your boy was out there this week covering it for the Sports Grid Network. And who was Dubsy with for 2 practice days? Walking the golf course, checking out the landscape. Sahith Theegala. And now who's at the top of the leaderboard? Sahith Theegala. And yes, we got a slice of him at 110-1 from the top rope. I said, Shem, wow. And this is what stands out to me when I'm out on the golf course. Firstly, it's a longer golf course. We need certain statistics that line up well. So he's got the long ball. He tells me how much he's loving this track. Tuesday, Wednesday, the game looks absolutely dialed in. And here he is carving up. He's still looking for that breakthrough win on the PGA Tour. But at 12-1 now in the live markets, that is a fantastic number at 8 under par. And of course, we've got Siwoo Kim, JJ Spawn also up top there. I guess the favorite moving into Friday here is Tony Finau. He posted a 6 under par yesterday, and he looks very, very confident. And so he should be. He's had 2 wins coming into this one. Can he make it a three-peat? That's something we don't usually see too often here on the PGA Tour. What stands out to me, really low scoring there from Thursday. Again, a longer golf course, a tougher track, TPC South wind. It had a lot of rain early in the week. The rough is really thick and penal. But if you're looking for anything in the live markets moving into the weekend, again, Sahith, Tony Finau, their names to watch, but you've got to go after the long ball. The short course specialist will not be a factor moving into the weekend for this one, especially as they lengthen up that golf course by letting the rough really grow out and the greens start to firm up. And again, this is the last event with 125 player field. We're going to have a cut after today's round. We then go to 70 for the BMW Championship next week, and then the final 30 for the Tour Championship at Eastlake, where the golfers will compete for $18 million. The big talk coming out from around the grounds earlier this week. Cameron Smith in the press center. I was there. It was extremely awkward, but hey, full credit to him. He shows up and cops a barrage of questions. Are you going to live golf? Cam Percy, his Aussie countryman, rats him out at the start of the week, saying Mark Leishman and Cameron Smith have already signed with the Live Series. They're going to take off after the FedEx Cup Playoffs. And a lot of people are up in arms saying, well, he shouldn't be allowed to compete for all this money at the Tour Championship. But look, he's earned the right. He still hasn't come out and said that he's joining Live Golf. But by not telling us that he's staying with the PGA Tour, the silence is deafening. So it's extremely likely that Cameron Smith will be going to the Live Series. And this is going to be the first significant domino to join that league. And yes, they've got Dustin Johnson. They've got Phil Mickelson. They've got Bryson DeChambeau. But when we talk about golfers who are in form, Cameron Smith is one of the hottest golfers on the planet right now. He won the Players' Championship, the 5th major. He won the Open Championship, the last major of the year. Second in the world rankings, chasing down Scotty Scheffler. You look at the Live golfers, not a lot of guys who come in with form the last 12 months. Dustin Johnson, the only guy inside the top 20 in the world ranking. So that will be a significant pickup for Greg Norman in the Live Series. But hey, by the court shutting down the TRO, the temporary restraining order for the Live golfers to compete in the FedEx Cup Playoffs, that allows us no more distractions. We got 3 high-quality events with very strong fields pegging it up. No Live golf, just the best of the best in the world going head-to-toe here at Memphis. Again, for the FedEx St. Jude, Sahith Theegala up top of the leaderboard with Siwoo Kim and JJ Spawn at 8 under par. Round 2 already underway today here on Friday. And what else is coming up this weekend? The English Premier League. We saw round 1 last week. We welcome in our radio listeners, Channel 159 Sirius XM. This is the morning after. I'm Dubs Anderson filling in for Benny Stevens. We just recapped the latest from the golf space there. It's the FedEx St. Jude. Sahith Theegala up top of your leaderboard at 8 under par. And we're now talking a little English Premier League. Last weekend was the opening of the season. Match week 2 getting underway there tomorrow. And we got some big games coming up here. Brentford taking on Manchester United. The big off-season talk was coming from Old Trafford. Manchester United, how do they turn it around? Cristiano Ronaldo, 37 years of age. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to go somewhere else, but nowhere else wants him at that price tag. They come out last week and they get dusted by Brighton, Hove and Albion, who are decent. But again, Manchester United, one of the most famous sporting teams across the world. You put that jersey on, you're meant to be special. Right now, they've got 11 guys on that pitch who are far from special. Manchester United, I'm expecting another season similar to what we saw there last year. Eric Ten Hag, he has his hands full. Cristiano Ronaldo, get him off the books. The trade deadline fast approaching for the English Premier League, the start of September. But I do think at even money tomorrow, they're a decent value taken on Brentford, who are not the strongest side. Manchester United, they'll have enough motivation to clip a couple of goals, but don't get it twisted. They are not a very good English, football side, if you will, soccer side. Let's talk about Chelsea, Tottenham. This is one of the matchups of the weekend. Two teams really pushing for the top four. They want to be pushing Man City and Liverpool to take out the Premier League, but I think a top four finish is very more realistic. You look at the numbers here, Tottenham at plus 220. Of course, Chelsea at home as your favourites. Christian Pulisic, probably the best American soccer player there with Chelsea, is not getting as many minutes as he should be. Tommy Tuchel just thinks he's a great bench player, but far from the case. If you want to get involved, another market here, over 2.5 goals to be scored. A lot of offense, both sides here. Chelsea taking on Tottenham. Chelsea beat Tottenham 4 times their last season. Of course, Tottenham picked up Raheem Sterling, false 9. But Chelsea really love holding the ball. Tottenham, on the other side, they've got Son, Harry Kane. Expect plenty of goals. The English Premier League, how good is it to have it back? I'm going to say we see the overs 2.5, Chelsea taking on Tottenham. And Man United, I don't like them, but yes, they're going to beat Brentford at even money. Premier League getting underway tomorrow, match week 2. Keep it right here, the morning after.
If you or a loved one has mesothelioma or been diagnosed with another asbestos-related cancer, call now. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be able to receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Thousands of hardworking men and women have been diagnosed with mesothelioma because manufacturers put profits ahead of safety. Manufacturers knew the risks of asbestos exposure for years, but knowingly manufactured and sold deadly asbestos-containing materials, putting millions of American workers at risk. These manufacturers have tried to avoid compensating their victims, but the courts have ordered them to set aside an estimated $30 billion in trust money for the victims of asbestos. Call now to see if you're entitled to a portion of the $30 billion. You could receive compensation without filing a lawsuit or going to court.
For your free legal consultation, call 800-268-1371. That's 800-268-1371. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
You heard a screech outside at night, but you can't see what it is because there's not enough light. You need the Bionic Floodlight from Bell & Howell, the solar-powered motion-activated multi-directional floodlight, the versatile wireless, safety, security, and outdoor lifestyle light you'll love. And right now, it's yours for just $29.99, and the shipping is free. Order now, and we'll send a second Bionic Floodlight. Just pay a separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-604-7066 or order online at bionicfloodlight.com.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-450-0515. 1-800-450-0515.
Hi, folks. Medicare Part C plans with extra benefits like getting money added back to your Social Security check may now be available to you in your zip code. Make sure you're not missing out. It's simple. 1, call the number on your screen. 2, they'll look up your zip code and see if you're eligible. 3, they'll check for plans with extra benefits like prescriptions, dental coverage, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every single month. Call now.
I called to get everything I deserve.
I called to check my zip code for a plan with a benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to check my zip code.
Millions of people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline. Call, check your zip code, see if you're eligible, and get what you deserve. Call now.
Call 1-800-810-7576. That's 1-800-810-7576 now.
Sports News Minute.
Welcome back into the morning after. Happy Friday. I'm Dubs Anson, filling in for Benny Stevens. Time to talk a little football. We bring in NFL insider Joe Pisapia. Joey P, it has been far too long since I've last seen it. And since we last spoke, a little football. But how good is it to have it back? 2 games there last night, 5 more coming up this afternoon. Preseason football. I mean, is this where we load up, or do we need to approach with a little caution?
Let's say this. This is fun. This is exciting. This is what we've all been waiting for. It was great to see Malik Willis looking good last night, making some very athletic plays and some very interesting throws, a little sidearm action there for Malik Willis, a guy who I thought slipped way too far in the draft. But again, we don't want to overrate too much of what we see. And certainly wagering in these games is a tenuous prospect at best because you're dealing with second, third string guys and wacky things going on late in these games. But there are certainly some things to look forward to in some of these games and some players to keep an eye on for sure, because it is going to impact some of these win totals, how these guys look early on, and the confidence level some teams have in some of these players. And, even the quarterback position on some of these teams is still kind of in flux.
Yeah, absolutely. We touched on earlier the Ravens. I think they last lost a preseason game back in 2015. But what you touched on there, Joe, I mean, there is a great chance to look at some of the younger talent coming through here, identify a couple of guys to keep on the radar. Maybe if you're big into the fantasy football side of things, or maybe if you get the inside word that some of these guys are going to be out there on the gridiron this afternoon, because you've got to be in the know on who's out there on the actual field. If you've got these second string, third strings, I mean, even Dubsy could run in a couple of touchdowns against some of these defenses, Joe. Let's not get it twisted, but let's talk about a game there this evening. The Cardinals taking on the Bengals. 2 great quarterbacks who are probably not going to be out on the pitch this afternoon. The Cardinals there, plus 115. The Bengals as your favorites, minus 135. We're going to Cincinnati. The projected total at 31.5. And this is the trap I fell into when I started getting involved with the preseason football betting a few years back, Joe. I see these totals. I'm like, 31.5. This has got to be a typo or something. I absolutely loaded into the first one, and then I did my research. I'm like, oh, not so fast. We don't get a lot of offense. What do you make of this one? Who are you leaning towards? Are the Cardinals, the Bengals, and maybe moving into the season? Who's got the bigger upside? Could there be regression from Cincinnati this season?
Well, I actually don't think it's going to be a regression from Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's a very confident team. I know Joe Burrow's been dealing with that appendectomy issue, so we're not going to see him. But the biggest problem for this team last year was the offensive line. It was a glaring issue for them. They were able to overcome it, get all the way to the Super Bowl. But, what's indicative of the very last play of that Super Bowl, right? Had Joe Burrow had just a little bit more time, there's a wide open Jamar Chase who would have scored a touchdown, and all of a sudden the Bengals are the champions. So that's how, important that offensive line is, and that, the one extra 2 seconds to throw the football can make a world of difference. So to me, they addressed that issue. They did a good job doing so through the draft, through free agency. I think the Bengals are going to be right there. If anything here, though, because I imagine a lot of the Bengals starters are not going to be playing too much in this one, the Cardinals might see a little bit more of those guys potentially. We'll see how things shake out. But what you want to look for in preseason with the Cardinals, too, is the usage of Rondale Moore. A lot's been made about Hollywood Brown's acquisition on draft day, right? That big trade that went down there with the Cardinals and the Ravens. But at the same time, without DeAndre Hopkins on the field, you're looking for somebody else. And there's been a lot of buzz about Rondale Moore. He was a player last year, has a lot of athleticism, can do a lot of things in the offense, but was used sporadically at times. I think that usage early on, especially in these first 6 weeks when you don't have DeAndre Hopkins on the field, is going to be really important for fantasy managers to take a look at. And that could be something that really gives this offensive boost. If he underperforms, that's something that could really hold the Cardinals back. So that's a player not only in this game, but also just going forward to keep an eye on how his preseason folds out. Because if Rondale Moore can be a nice complement in that wide receiving core, because remember, they lost Christian Kirk. They don't have Hopkins. So there's a big void there. And Hollywood Brown has been inconsistent in his career in terms of catching the football, right? Getting open, that he can do. He's faster than everybody else. It's actually catching the football has been a little bit of a problem, which is ironic because his job is receiver.
Yeah, you got to be pretty good to catch the ball. That does matter. When we watch the basketball, Joe, and some of these guys can't make free throws, I'm like, you're getting paid to be a basketball player, and you can't even shoot the thing. Ben Simmons, I'm looking at you, pal. But hey, what do you make for Kyler Murray? He gets the bag. There's all that kerfuffle a couple of weeks back there. Too much time on the old PlayStation. Surely that doesn't fill him with confidence going into the season. He's missing a few weapons. What is the outlook for the Cardinals?
Well, the Cardinals are in a weird spot, and so is Cliff Kingsbury. This is an offense that likes to run a lot of plays, likes to run up tempo, and that's fine. But, when you take away DeAndre Hopkins, that big time target, you saw the impact it had last year when he wasn't on the field because of injury. You don't know necessarily when he comes back, is he going to have more of these injuries? DeAndre Hopkins has had a brilliant 10-year career, but at a certain point, the wear and tear on these wide receivers sometimes hits them all at once. So that's something to really keep in mind there, that any Cardinal win total, I think, is a very dangerous bet, because you're betting not only on Hopkins coming back, being healthy for the rest of the season, but also that these guys can step up in that void and be that guy. And look, it's great that they signed Murray. They really didn't have much of an option there. They brought in some help outside of James Conner too, because they lost Chase Edmonds in the offseason. But still, looking at the Cardinals, they're a team that I think is still on the outside looking in, especially in that very difficult division. And I think you could more likely see the end of Cliff Kingsbury here than necessarily a Cardinals playoff berth. I think that's probably the more likely outcome.
Wow, big shout. The Cardinals taking on the Bengals this afternoon. The Bengals are your favorites at home, -135. Let's talk about another game coming up here. The Green Bay Packers taking on the 49ers. I mean, when we talk about quarterbacks, again, the offseason has been filled with Aaron Rodgers doing his psychedelics. Trey Lance gets the nod. Jimmy G, see you later. We look at the numbers here. The 49ers are your favorites this afternoon, -140 on the money line. The Packers +120, projected total set at 33.5. Do you like any leans coming up here for today's game? And what's the outlook for the Green Bay Packers? I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's saying Alan Lazard's the next Hall of Famer after losing Devontae Adams. I think he's still on the old psychedelics jar.
I would agree with you, Dubs. I think there's a good chance that he is. I would say, though, Alan Lazard is very capable, and hippie Aaron Rodgers is new. Let's see. I mean, maybe instead of yelling at his wide receivers when they drop a ball, all of a sudden he comes back and gives them a hug. I don't know what to expect here. I don't think any of us do. The one thing you should expect from the Packers, though, was defense. This was a very good defensive unit last year. They got even better year over year with some of the additions they made. So this is a team that's going to have to grind it out, run the football, play defense. A little different look of the Packers than we're used to probably in the last 30 years between Favre and between Aaron Rodgers. So it's going to be a very different kind of feel for the offense. We're going to see if Romeo Doubs can actually, emerge as a number 2 wide receiver. I know they drafted Christian Watson, but a lot of hype out of camp has been about Romeo instead. I know Sammy Watkins is there, but I'm certainly not putting any faith in him. I think we've learned enough in our old age to steer away from Sammy Watkins, but Aaron Rodgers is still very efficient. This is going to have to be an efficient offense. He's going to have to utilize the running backs out of the backfield. That's something that as preseason goes on, you want to see how that offense evolves. And then on the flip side here, San Francisco has a path here. They were right on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. I think people forget that they were winning that NFC Championship game. Trey Lance gives them something they've never had with Jimmy Garoppolo, which is a guy who could throw the ball downfield and a guy with incredible athleticism who can make plays with his legs. That's going to pull Deebo Samuel's production a little bit. You're not going to see him have as many carries this year. But at the same time, you're going to see a little bit more of Brandon Ayuk, I think, at times in this offense because he is more of the deep threat. I think you're going to see a more dynamic offense with Trey Lance. There will be some bumps in the road. He's still a rookie, but that athleticism is so special and it's so necessary in this modern day NFL. So to me, San Francisco is a team that really people shouldn't sleep on just because the quarterback is young. I think Garoppolo, in a lot of ways, although he managed games well, he got them to the precipice. Sometimes Garoppolo would hold them back as well because he was limited in terms of decision-making and limited in terms of that athleticism and the ability to stretch the field, which is something the San Francisco 49er offense just simply hasn't had.
Yeah, and it's a good point you make. I was going to ask you, you're all in on Trey Lance in the 49ers. Man, you look at the NFC West, it is completely jacked. The Cardinals, the Rams, Seattle Seahawks. I mean, they're obviously making up the numbers. Who's your pick to come out of the NFC West?
Look, as long as the elbow of Matthew Stafford is still attached and okay, I think you still got to go back to the Rams. But I think the 49ers have already showed you that they can play them. And historically, they've beaten up on the Rams. So that confidence level should not be overlooked.
Yeah, and big news coming out this week in the media. There's nothing but brawls going on at training. That tells me the 49ers, they want that smoke. They want that competition. Joe Pisapia, thanks for joining us here on the morning after. Have yourself a Friday. We'll catch up soon.
With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way. With any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, and batteries never need charging.
I was having a stroke, and I was scared to death.
If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Life Alert is a lifesaver.
My husband is alive because of Life Alert.
Life Alert is the lifesaver to keep me out of assisted living.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-609-5506. That's 1-800-609-5506. Call now. 1-800-609-5506.
I lost my motivation. I was feeling old and starting to look it. And then, voila. I feel better than I did in my 20s. If you feel stuck, if you can't find the drive, it may be due to low HGH, which naturally drops with age.
Your growth hormone levels start declining in your 20s, but GF9's lab-tested, patented formula is designed to boost GH levels naturally by up to 682%. Growth hormone is associated with reduced body fat, increased lean muscle, improved energy, mood, and more. And best of all, GF9 has been shown to work in as little as 2 hours.
I've taken a million different supplements. This is the first one that I've noticed has made a tremendous difference.
To me, GF9 is the best supplement out on the market.
GF9 is a top-selling male performance product at GNC. Call right now to try GF9 for 60 days absolutely risk-free.
Call 1-800-795-9129 or go to getgf9.com.
Join us. Get your drive back. Get your youth back. And get back in the game with GF9.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Attention. From 1953 to 1987, veterans and civilians were potentially exposed to toxic chemicals in the drinking water at Camp Lejeune. Exposure to these chemicals increases the risk for cancer and other health problems. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with a serious illness after being exposed to contaminated water at Camp Lejeune, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call Sokolov Law now at 1-800-327-4629. That's 1-800-327-4629.
Attention! Do you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS? If so, you may qualify for the IRS Fresh Start program, so you won't have to make any payments to the IRS. That's right. If you qualify for the IRS's Fresh Start program, you won't make any IRS payments once you are accepted. Once you are in the IRS Fresh Start program, they must stop all harassing and threatening collection activities. Call Tax Relief today now at 800-382-1870 to see if you qualify. Again, 800-382-1870.
Welcome back into the morning after. Happy Friday. Getting the weekend started right. I am Dubs Anson filling in for Benny Stevens. We now welcome in good mate Alex Fazana. You usually see him out there for Benny and the Bets, which is usually the highlight of my Friday. I always tune in for Benny and the Bets, whatever madness you guys are causing out there on the streets in New York City. It usually gets me a little jelly. But Alex, happy Friday, mate. How's the week been?
It's been great, Dubsy. Again, I got to say, appreciate you hopping up and in for us here on this Friday. Shout out to Ben Stevens. I hope he's hitting par, at least on the course so far. But that's another story for another day. Dubsy, we do not have a Benny and the Bets episode for you all today. However, we do have a little treat. But before we get into that, I got to ask, you're our golf guy, Dubs. You're talking baseball, preseason football all day on the show today. Do you miss the NBA? Do you miss a little bit of basketball?
I do miss a little bit of basketball. For me, it's sort of got the same sort of cadence as MLB, but it's got more excitement. Maybe it's because, we've got these high-profile athletes. They're a little flashier. They got a bit of pizzazz, if you will. But yes, I certainly miss the NBA, and I certainly miss the Lakers being a force. Who knows when they're ever going to come back. But, mate, basketball, that's my jam. I'm not good at it. I love watching it, and I'm decent at betting on it.
Well, there you go. That's all that really matters is as long as we provide winners, that's the key. And we might need you actually out there for our rec league, which is the highlight of our segment here. Dubsy, we needed you out there. We needed some height. We got a lot of talent on this roster, but one thing we lack, it's not heart, it's not dedication, it's height. I mean, I'm a 5'8" guy myself. We need you out there, Dubs. When are you going to come to Bellworks and play with us?
Hey, you just call Dubsy. I'll be there on the next flight. I'll fly, private jets only for your boy if he's going to hit the hard court. But mate, basketball in Australia, I mean, it's not our jam. Who have we got? Dellavedova. Shout out to Dellavedova, signing with the Sacramento Kings there recently. But what do we pride ourselves on? On being dogs, throwing elbows, getting a little scrappy. Andrew Bogut, Steve Adams, the Kiwi. We play dirty. We play physical. Our shooting, not really our forte. Again, shout out to Ben Simmons. Absolutely sucks. He puts up bricks, but that's what Dubsy would look like.
All right, well, you know what? I'm sure you'd produce a little bit more than Ben Simmons when you'd play with us here at Bellworks. But let's all just, let's take a deep breath. This is a feel-good Friday. So, again, we do not have Benny in the bets, but we do have a special treat for everyone here. So why don't we all just take a deep breath, sit back and relax, and watch the highlight reel from our Bellworks Rec League this past week. Take a look. Homedale, New Jersey for the Bellworks Rec League Basketball Week 5, Game 4.
Some people are saying the team is better without Ben Stevens. I would never say that, but some people are.
Ben, where you at? We're here. We're ready to go. They're going to get warmed up. Pre-game pep talk, and we'll see what happens. Let's go, baby. Great.
I like where we are. Down one, it's a good game from us. So a lot of game left. We feel good.
I'd say it's the toughest game, the grittiest game we played all year. We lost. We didn't play our best game, but shows our true potential. Nice little test before the playoffs, and I feel good about the squad. Everyone kind of carries each other. I feel good heading to the playoffs. I think we're going to make a run in the playoffs. I feel good for the grid.
I drank 0 water for that entire game. I could not be feeling worse right now. Oh, teammates. Teammates.
You know, it is what it is. We get back to it. We got the playoffs coming up. You know, we just put this one in the books and move forward.
Good game. Love the sportsmanship from the grid. Got a little chippy. We're always playing a fair game. We're playing a great game. That's the way that the grid does it. Next time that dub is coming, you bet your ass.
There you go, Dubs.
That
That was
Stop! That's amazing. I mean, Kevin Walsh with the Euro, Johnny Shames out there with his beach muscles flexing. I mean, Fasano, number 29 in the house. I mean, MVP honors. Paddy Foster, I mean, he was out there like Brandon Ingram, just going about his business, getting it done. And what about Jack? I see a real Dame time out of producer Jack there, with that pizzazz, with that flash. I didn't see the boys have those skills, but I was too busy watching the men in red. I didn't see the opposition there. I assume they were all 6'6", absolute units, monsters. But hey, Sports Grid, not just doing it on camera, boys. We're doing it out there in the paint. Love to see it.
Hey, we bleed the winning edge both on and off the court. Unfortunately, as we heard in the video, we didn't get the win, but We did reach the playoffs. We'll be back next week and then hopefully the week after for the championship game. But you saw a lot of heart, a lot of dedication. Now, before we move off of the Sports Grid Rec League, let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend to comment on it really quickly. And that's who you saw hitting those threes, John Shames. I mean, he's the heart and soul of the team, Dubs. He's great. He's great. Shames, what can you give us here? What was the mindset? Even though we lost, I thought it was pretty cool, right? Good team camaraderie out there.
Listen, the rod is always great. Rod short for camaraderie. Always great. The vibes are high. No matter win or lose, we booze. That's kind of the rule for the Grid. Greatest game of my life individually. Happened to be on camera for thousands of people to see. Love that for myself. Hit a couple threes there. Ryan, our editor on that, took a couple of the highlights out, even though I said to him, please make sure you get all of my highlights in. So, whatever. I'm not gonna make too big of a stink about that. I'll be out there next week. We'll make a new highlight reel, and we'll come back strapped with that one.
Shamesy, Fasano, I mean, you guys were looking fantastic, but rumor has it, Shames, that you went missing 30 minutes prior to the game, and the boys actually saw you down there in the gym doing the old bicep curls because you knew we were going to be filming this one. Everyone else is out there in the T-shirts, my boys in the tank top. Things you love to see on a Friday. Shamesy with the guns pumping, but who did take MVP honors, boys? I mean, Fasano, you got that speed there, son. You're blown past them.
Well, Dubsy, I got that dog in me, as our team captain Kevin Walsh likes to say. I can hustle, I can rebound, I can steal, but you see my shots, they're not the best. So again, we all pick each other up on the court. It's a great team effort. Shout out to the Sports Grid team. We'll be back out there in the playoffs. Hopefully, we can get another winner. But Dubsy, Shamesy, let's get into what everybody really loves about this segment. Enough of the Sports Grid Basketball League. NBA season's not here yet. You know it is, though.
I love it.
And it's time for I know you love it, but it's producer picks time, baby, and it's also NFL preseason time, and that's where we're going to go first. I'll start us off. A little bit of a homer pick, I guess, but give me my Steelers at -3.5 against the Seahawks in the first preseason game. Hey, guys, I'm excited to see Mitchell Trubisky. I'm excited to see Kenny Pickett. I'm excited to see Mason Rudolph. Yes, I just said that, but it's Steelers football. I'm just so excited to have football back. I watched both preseason games last night. Dubsy, what do you think of my Steelers? You think they could take it in week 1 of the preseason?
Mate, look, Kenny Pickett, he picks up a Coke can with 2 cans. He got them small hands. When Rudolph's not getting KO'd from Myles Garrett in the helmet, they're going against the Seahawks, mate. They got to be one of the worst teams coming into the season. -3.5, -10.5. Absolutely, mate. Let's go Steelers.
All right, there we go. Bleeding the black and gold. But now, Shamesy, we have you here with us. Why don't you take us through your producer pick? He's going with the Rams as a 3.5-point dog against the Chargers here in the preseason. There's no real home field advantage. They share a stadium. So, Shames, why are we going with the Rams here?
I'm going with the Rams because L.A. still runs through L.A.R., baby. I am not as high on the Chargers as everyone else here. I'm throwing that out there. I know it's preseason. We all have our thoughts about whether or not that's a smart wager. Don't know if I'll be betting real-life money on this, but I'm seeing the Super Bowl champs booked as a 3.5-point underdog. What are we doing? Let's take that money, baby.
Yeah, Shamesy knows a good thing when he sees it. Look, I think the upside is there for the Chargers. They're going to be very strong the business end of the season, but the Rams, they're also going to be a force. If I had time, boys, I'd put on my Aaron Donald helmet and I'd start banging the camera. I'm all in on the Rams.
All right, here we go. We're all riding. Let's ride. Sorry, Russell, I just kind of stole that from you, but we're riding with you, Shames. And let's get into it, guys. The best producer picker of our card here, and that's Jesse Metzger. He's our graphics guy. He knows his baseball. It's not over yet. We still have a month and a half left in the season. He's going with the Orioles. Money line at +130. It's actually already on the move. Orioles now +122 on the money line. Hey, guys, it's a race to that wild card, and Baltimore is surging. They're only a half game behind the Rays, who they play tonight, in the wild card race. Baltimore is hot. I'm riding Jesse's picks always, every single Friday, guys, so I think we all got to ride with the squad.
Hey,
I love Jesse picking the O's, Dubs. I love it.
Jesse knows what's up, boys. When we say Shamesy's got that dog in him on the court, the Orioles, they got it out there on the diamond. And they're also one of the best teams against the spread. Yeah, let's ride the Orioles, boys. I mean, the producer picks. Last time I was on here, boys, we went 3 for 3. You made me an absolute squillion. I took the missus out to a nice steak restaurant the Friday night. Let's run it back again this afternoon. Alex Bazzano, John Shames, get out of the gym, my man. Those biceps, you're making us all look bad. Keep right here, the morning after, baby.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms.
Attention parents. If your child was born premature and later diagnosed with necrotizing enterocolitis, also known as NEC, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Certain types of baby formulas have been linked to an increased risk of newborns developing NEC, a severe and potentially fatal intestinal illness that oftentimes requires surgery. If your child was born premature or at a low birth weight and later diagnosed with necrotizing enterocolitis, the baby formula your child was fed may be to blame, and you may be entitled to significant compensation from the manufacturer. Call right now to find out if you qualify. Don't be a victim. Get the help you deserve. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-958-5083. That's 1-800-958-5083.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Diabetics understand all too well the pain of pricking your fingers, but now by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor or CGM, you can immediately reduce your pain. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now.
You heard a screech outside at night, but you can't see what it is because there's not enough light. You need the Bionic Floodlight from Bell & Howell, the solar-powered, motion-activated, multi-directional floodlight, the versatile wireless, safety, security, and outdoor lifestyle light you'll love. And right now, it's yours for just $29.99, and the shipping is free. Order now, and we'll send a second Bionic Floodlight. Just pay a separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-604-7066 or order online at bionicfloodlight.com.
Are you over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days? I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. Call now for this free book on maximizing your income in retirement. Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers from leading financial firm J.D. Mellberg. That's right, free. This book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now, because we're about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known truths we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity, and it's free. Call 800-273-2815. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report. We researched numerous products and summarized rates and benefits of annuities, all from Silac Insurance Company. Call 800-273-2815. That's 800-273-2815. Call now.
Sports Grid Network.
Welcome back into the morning after. I am Dubs Ennis. It's now time to talk a little more basketball. WNBA. We bring in our basketball insider coach, James Young. Now, first of all, coach, I know you just got a glimpse of that last segment. Apologies in advance. You had to witness some of that. What did you break down there for Zano and Shamesy? I mean, the boys have got some big tickets on their game. Did you see it? Did you see the potential there from the boys?
I'm a little concerned, Dubsy, with the offensive flow. I'm not going to be honest. I got to be honest. I'm a little concerned with 18 points and 30 minutes of running time. There's got to be a little bit of adjustments. I like what I saw to Shames, some three-pointers. Fasano, the grit and glue guy, but I'm not calling anybody out. I mean, Kevin Walsh talks the most trash on the grid. I saw a Euro step, and that was it. So, coach may have to show up Wednesday night to bring the clipboard, Dubsy, a little motivational talk here, because we can't be having this 18-point performance. I have flashbacks to some of my games at Monmouth with some of the offensive futility. That's why I'm talking to you and not on that sideline. So we got to do we got to fix this offense, Dubsy. We really got to do it.
Yeah, I'll be there, coach. I'll look after the hydration pre-game, post-game, and I'm a real locker room guy. I love bringing the energy, the camaraderie, get the boys pumped up, and I'm bringing Little to the court. Mate, speaking about bringing it to the court, the WNBA, it is the business end of the season. The Aces getting it done over the Sky there last night, 89-78. What did you make of this one? What do you like in the look of as the playoffs are fast approaching here?
That the Aces are the best team in the W, and they've had some hiccups during the season, Dubsy. But what they could hit you in so many ways offensively, and when you could roll out, Asia Wilson only getting you 12 points and 6 rebounds, but you get 25 out of Plum, 22 out of Jackie Young. You didn't play. Hamby didn't even play, and this is a team, Dubsy, that is rolling right now. They beat down the Sky in the Commissioner's Cup final. They won the season series, so all Vegas has to do is win their last game, and they secure the 1 seed, which is big in the playoffs. I do think when you look at it, the Las Vegas Aces have proven themselves over the last 2 or so weeks that they should be, and they are, the betting favorite to win the WNBA title.
Yeah, I was going to ask you who you're leaning towards. The Sky up top of the Eastern Conference, the Aces up top of the West there. Coach, explain to the viewers, the listeners there, how does the playoff race work for the WNBA? Am I right in saying that it's just the top 8 teams across both conferences? It doesn't matter if it's 4 from the East, 4 from the West. It's just the best percentages from the top 8 teams?
Yeah, that's correct, Dubsy. Top 8 teams make it. Obviously, the top 6 seeds have been secured. You do have some positioning, 1-2 with Vegas and the Sky. You do have some positioning. I think Connecticut's locked up to 3. 4-5 is interesting between Seattle and the Mystics. They both play tonight, so let's see how that shakes out. Seattle 1 game ahead. Dallas has secured 6. Then all hell breaks loose. 7, 8, 9, 10. Minnesota, Atlanta, New York, Phoenix, all tied with 2 games to go this weekend.
Yeah, love it. Brutal blow there for the Phoenix Mercury. Skylar Diggins-Smith to miss the final 2 games due to personal reasons. Not good on that front, Coach. But who you like in the look of moving into the playoffs here? We touched on a couple of the favorites, but who do you like around that 4th, 5th seed who can maybe make a bit of a run in the playoffs, and they're going to present a slightly bigger number for the punters there at home?
I look at Seattle, and I just look at the way that Tina Charles has been playing. Brianna Stewart most likely is going to be the MVP of the WNBA. Sue Bird, Jewel Lloyd, they have so many pieces offensively. Tina Charles has changed that team dramatically, Dubsy, because now at the low post, you can play her and Brianna Stewart high-low, and you can attack mismatches. Basically, it allows the Storm to play chess while other teams play checkers, meaning find what the other team does incorrectly, especially in the low post, and attack them with 2 players who can go inside out. So that's where the value is. Don't sleep on the Washington Mystics, but I'm telling you, this is going to be fascinating tonight when you got these 4 teams going down the stretch. You got 2 teams in Phoenix and Atlanta that's got some injuries and some concerns down the stretch. And then you got 2 teams in the Minnesota Lynx and New York Liberty that could be playing New York, especially. It's tricky, but they played the way they played against Dallas with a 20-point beatdown 2 nights ago. You got to think New York may be able to sneak into the playoffs.
Damn, I love listening to Coach James Young break down his basketball and his picks. And hey, keep up with it on social media at SportsGrid TV, at SportsGrid Radio, and of course at Coach James Young. Coach, I know there's a few games where you're going to sprinkle a bit of action here tonight. The Liberty taking on the Dream. We got 4 games coming up tonight in WNBA, but let's talk about the Liberty taking on the Dream. Who do we like for this one? I know you've been on an extremely hot run. When we say the best betting in basketball, I'm looking at you, my man. Dish me out a dime for tonight's game.
This is going to be a tricky one, but I'm going to go with the New York Liberty. I just think they're healthier right now. Laney has come back. They are the favorites on the road, so that kind of tells you what you need to know about this game. Liberty are 4-1 against spread the last 5 games, playing on 1 day's rest. They have struggled on the road, but they won their last one. The Dream, 1-6-1 against the spread the last 8 games overall. 0-3-1 against spread the last 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. 0-5-1 last 6 at home. And the fact that they are dealing with injuries, they're dealing with COVID concerns. This is going to be an issue, and I do like the New York Liberty to win tonight.
Love it. And one more before we switch gears here, Coach. What about the Connecticut Sun sitting in second place in the Eastern Conference? They last made through the finals in 2019. Could it finally be their time to get it done? Do they have what they need to make a run here in the playoffs? They look good there last night.
They look great. I mean, listen, let's be honest. The LA Sparks are the biggest train wreck besides the Indiana Fever, and they've been eliminated. They fired their coach. Cam Page leaves the team. They're a hot mess, and it just lined up the way that Connecticut is the best rebounding percentage team versus one of the worst. So that beatdown was expected, folks. The Connecticut Sun have the most double-digit wins, margin of victory in the WNBA. What does that mean? They beat teams down. And they may benefit, Dubsy, I'm going to say this, they may benefit by being the 3 seed and playing Chicago in the second round than playing the Aces. That may bode well for them because the Aces, even as the 1 seed, whether it's the Mystics or the Seattle Storm in that 4-5 matchup in the second round, that is going to be a war. So maybe Connecticut with that Alyssa Thomas and John Quell Jones in the center and power forward position, rugged rebounders, tough defensively, DeWanna Bonner, longtime vet. This could be a team in Connecticut that can find themselves in the WNBA Finals.
Love it. The WNBA playoffs fast approaching here. Get involved again tonight. A couple of great games coming up. But, Coach, let's talk a little NBA. The big news coming out this week, Kevin Durant. I mean, when we talk about locker room guys, Coach, this is not a guy I'd want to be teammates with. But he's now telling us that, hey, maybe I'd entertain playing with James Harden again, with Philly. I mean, we've seen him over in London. They pop up at some conference here. You can see the tweet. Kevin Durant would like to play with James Harden, who was in London with Durant around the time Durant met with the Nets ownership. Okay, mate, we've all been out on a big Saturday night where we get a few drinks into us and we're all best mates. Oh, Coach, I love you, mate. I'd do anything for you. What do we make of this one? It feels like every offseason, Kevin Durant has something to say, and these players have far too much power over the NBA. I'm not for it, Coach.
They really do. And what you have to be careful of, Dubsy, is you have to create a culture as a team, and then you got to bring the player in and keep the culture. That's where the Nets messed up. They had the coach, Kenny Atkinson. They had the young players in LeVert, and Jared Allen, and Spencer Dinwiddie, and D'Angelo Russell. Russell had to go as part of trade for KD. I understand, sign and trade. But then you bring in KD and Kyrie. They still had the culture. They allowed the culture to be thrown out in order to satisfy these veteran stars, and it's not paid off. Now, it's interesting. Kevin Durant was in London. I think Travis Scott had the concert, him and James Harden. There's been videos of them together. So, yes, they played together in OKC. Yes, he was the one that went to Sean Marks and said, I want James Harden in Brooklyn. But to me, all this does is try to get another team in the mix so that Kevin Durant wants out. He doesn't want to be there. He may not come out and say it publicly, but he's said enough that he wants to get out of there at any means necessary, but he also wants to pick his spots. Think about it. You thought about Philadelphia. You liked Miami. He liked Phoenix. Why, folks? Because they're ready to win. He's not asking to go to Oklahoma City. He's not asking to go to Houston or Sacramento, or I can't believe I'm going to say this, or the Knicks. He's trying to win a chip.
Is that what it's about, Coach? I mean, is he chasing a ring? Is it about the money, or does he want to be playing with his good mates? Because, I mean, you could argue if he stayed in Brooklyn, he's got a very good chance of winning a ring. I mean, look at the superstars we got. If Kyrie Irving stays there, maybe he knows more than us. Benny Simmons, if he's back full and healthy, of course, I'll throw in Patty Mills there, 6 men off the bench. Wouldn't he have just as good a chance staying there in Brooklyn, Coach?
You would think so, Dubsy, but he also, let's realize this, Kyrie's not staying past this year. Okay? Yeah. He's gone. So that is probably the other part. He's like, man, Kyrie's going to go. Harden's gone. I don't know what I'm going to get out of Ben Simmons. We don't have draft pick capital because that's being sent to Houston in the Harden deal. So it becomes one of these things where he's looking around, and I'm going to say this. The worst thing that happened to the Nets is that Golden State and Steph Curry won the title. Because now people can look at Durant and said, Curry won 1 or 2 without you. Can you win 1 without him?
Nah, he absolutely cannot. There's no hard work in him. We know the talent's there, Coach. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference. Some of the odds we bring up on the board here. Who's another team that's maybe going to be a bit of a force sneaking in under the radar amongst all this other speculation, trades going on in the offseason here? Who's another team we should be looking out for? The Celtics at plus 210, the Bucks at plus 270, the Nets now at 7-1. The Heat, they've got that dog in them, Coach. They got that dog in them. 7-1. It's not a bad number.
It's a great number. Listen, I think Milwaukee's the best team in the East. I think Shames will argue it's the Celtics. I think you get a motivated Milwaukee. But, man, looking at Miami at 7-1. I mean, they were a bad decision on taking a three-pointer away by Jimmy Butler. If he went to the basket, you never know. Game 7 turns a different way. And I think they would have gave Golden State a little bit more problems because of the experience of Spoelstra. So look at them. But I'm telling you, Dubsy, you look down that board a little bit. Man, Atlanta, if they get it together, if John Collins can take the next step, if Murray and Trae Young fit with the emergence of DeAndre Hunter, look out for them. And don't sleep on Toronto. 21-1. Nick Nurse, one of the best coaches in the league. And if you can get him now, and maybe they get Durant, then you're looking at maybe some major plus money.
What do you think, Coach? No chance Durant's going to be staying in Brooklyn. Game 1, no. He's going?
No, I got a better chance of eating a Nathan's hot dog eating contest than him being there. KD's gone.
Yeah, you do, Coach. Yeah, you do. Have yourself a weekend, baby. Keep it right here the morning after.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Attention! From 1953 to 1987, veterans and civilians were potentially exposed to toxic chemicals in the drinking water at Camp Lejeune. Exposure to these chemicals increases the risk for cancer and other health problems. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with a serious illness after being exposed to contaminated water at Camp Lejeune, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call Sokolov Law now at 1-800-327-4629. That's 1-800-327-4629.
If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to tell you what your case is potentially worth. Hello, I'm Gina, along with spokesperson Rob. Rob, tell the folks at home who should be calling right now.
Well, just like you said, Gina, anyone who's been injured in an accident that was not your fault, you don't have an attorney, give us a call right now, and we're going to let you know what your case is potentially worth.
Thanks, Rob. So what kind of calls have we been seeing today?
Well, Gina, we're getting calls from all types of accidents today. Work accidents, slip and falls, truck accidents, and most commonly, car accidents. So if you were injured in an accident that was not your fault, you don't have an attorney, take that first step, pick up that phone and give us a call. We're going to answer your questions, and we'll let you know how much money you can get for your accident.
Thanks, Rob. All right, folks at home, you heard it. Go ahead, don't hesitate, take that first step and call now.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-450-0515. 1-800-450-0515.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. Call right now for your free book, and as a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report. We researched over 1,200 annuities and summarized the rates and benefits of annuities from financially strong insurers. Again, that's Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and a free annuity rate report, both absolutely free, for calling Annuity General today. Supplies are limited. Call now.
Call 800-830-7360. That's 800-830-7360.
Network.
Welcome back into the morning after. Happy Friday. I'm Dubs Anderson. It's been nothing but a blast filling in for Benny Stevens. Benny will be back on Monday. For all you punters at home, best of luck with all your bets this afternoon. Again, 5 preseason games for the NFL. Huge slate of MLB. The golf is already underway. Denny McCarthy, Sahith Theegala up top at 9 under par. But hey, it's a Friday. And you know what we do on Fridays? Before we get out of here, before we say farewell, before we say goodbye, it's time for bye. All right, we're talking a little English Premier League. How good is it to have it back? Match week 2 getting underway tomorrow. And you're not going to believe the odds in this one. Bournemouth, who are newly promoted to the English Premier League, taking on Man City. Man City, one of your favourites to take out the league. Rightfully so. I mean, they've got Kevin De Bruyne. They bring in Erling Haaland. But look at these odds here. Man City at minus 1450. Bournemouth are at 39 to 1 in a heads-up matchup. Again, this is soccer. 13 to 1 for the draw. Look at Bournemouth. They're coming off a win here last weekend. So too Man City. Bournemouth, maybe they're out of their weight class. But hey, what do we like about the English Premier League? There's 2 ways to get it done. Teams are either trying to win the Premier League or they're staying afloat out of relegation. For Bournemouth, let's park the bus. Let's play for the draw. They beat Aston Villa there last week, who I'm very big on to have a good campaign, and we get them at 13 to 1. Stranger things that happen. Don't put their house on it, but definitely put a few sprinkles on it. Match week 2 getting underway there tomorrow for the English Premier League. We're going for an almighty upset. Bournemouth to park the bus, starve Man City of possession, hold the ball, pass it to one another. Don't worry about scoring, lads. We're going to take a 0-0 draw, and that's going to get us done here. And hey, we're getting done for a Friday, the morning after. What a show it's been the last couple of hours. We thank our special guest for jumping up and in here. For the punters at home, best of luck with all your bets this afternoon. As we always say, if you're in the red, go to bed. If you're in the black, keep it on the attack. You have yourself a Friday, have yourself a weekend, pour yourself a cold one, load up those sports betting accounts, put those tickets in, make a couple of checkles, baby. Have yourself a Friday. Let's go. The morning after.